Tonight we're talking Famously Single, Episode 3 with the House Party, and special guest Somaya Reece stops by. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, and I'm wearing red.
Hey.
What?
So you gotta throw up the West Coast though.
I ain't doing all that. I don't know who wants it.
It's not a gang sign, okay? It's not a gang sign. Let me be clear. Everybody in LA does this.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, LA. Hey.
What up, AfterBuzz? It's your boy DJ Jesse Jan here in studio for E's Famously Single AfterBuzz TV After Show. I'm joined in studio by my girl, Miss Tiona Hobson.
Hey everyone, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson. I don't know why
You
I just
better
sounded
shout
so like
yourself
that.
out. Yes.
Hit me up too, because we both famously single here at AfterBuzz.
Hello.
Hit me up at DJ Jesse J.
Maybe we're unfamously single.
Well, I said at AfterBuzz.
Oh, okay.
That's about the extent of my fame, okay? But you may know this woman, Miss Somaya Reece.
Hey, life, I'm back.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to say that I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
And the
You.
show, because I was a part of the beginning of these shows, and now
You came on Bad Girls Club.
Yes, yes. It's been a while, you know.
When we was working out the trap house.
Yeah, no, it was a smaller office, everyone, and it was great because it's huge now.
Yeah.
It's a second location. You expanded the first one, so AfterBuzz TV, thank you for having me again.
Yes, girl.
Say hello to your cousin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, hello
And
to your
first of
girl.
all, I just want to say congratulations to you, because
Thank you.
you were one of the first people I actually really connected with out here in LA, and we had some crazy times. We had some
Yes.
great times.
Great times.
But you know, connecting with you and talking about watching you on Love and Hip Hop, and then hearing, seeing your life and experiences, and seeing you grind and hustle and just be out here, the woman you are. Like, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank
because you
you.
really, like, no one can say nothing negative about this girl, because she works hard and she a baddie.
I mean, you know.
You know what I'm saying? She a baddie.
You know, hello. My mom.
Literally
Thanks to my mom.
left work to come here.
Yeah, you know
Because
what?
you grinding all day.
All day. It's true. And it's really interesting because, if you watch some of the first episodes on the show and some of the things that have been said about me, it's anyone that knows me in the industry or in person, and anyone that's met me is like, I'm a little bit of the opposite of what they're saying,
Well, because you come off aggressive on camera, but it's because
I
it's
am
edited,
tough,
but you're a
you know?
lover,
Yeah,
and you
very
protect
much.
the ones that you care about.
That I care about,
so
yeah.
the editors are just getting the aggressive part, but it all stems from love when it comes to
Yes,
Somaya.
and that's a big part of what you're going to be seeing on the show. And, it's also so hard when the editors work so hard and the producers to get so much camera footage, and they can only put a little bit together. Yeah. But I'm really excited that they're going to show a little bit more of why I am, how I am. When you've been through all of the things that I've been through, and also being a woman in this industry, you have to be a beast. If you are not a beast, you will get stepped on or passed around, if you know what I'm saying. In Hollywood, no one can say they ever did that to me. I came from nothing, and I built everything that I have through hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. I was a maid my whole life. I was still a maid when I was discovered. I was discovered cleaning rooms, and I was signed to William Morris. I've done a lot of national commercials, big campaigns, and all of these things, and just still humbly working.
And proud to
jobs.
say it, like, not one of those people who'd be like, oh, puts the front on. It's like, no, this is what I do.
This is who
I'm
I am.
out here.
And I'm just out here working, and that's all I do. And that's how I ended up on Famously Single.
Well, so it kinda
Because then
gets-
I didn't learn how to date anymore. Then I was like, I think I'm going to marry my money. What am I doing?
You were in a relationship a while back, and then that kind of dissolved.
Yes.
So you had this in-between time. So in that in-between time, and joining the show, were you a little apprehensive about doing reality TV again in that sense, or?
Yes, very much so, for a lot of different reasons. One, I got offered a lot of projects ever since I left Love and Hip Hop, including Love and Hip Hop. I just recently actually turned down, for the second, third time, Love and Hip Hop New York, but respectfully. I mean, when it makes sense for me and I'm in the right city and whatnot, then maybe we can walk down that road. But I would say that there's a lot of things that I turned down because time constraints, my family. It's a lot of real things that happen in my life aside from show business. You know, I've retired both my parents, which has become very difficult for me. So it means I have to work 3-4 times as hard, but they deserve it. You know, they came to this country with nothing to take care of their children back in El Salvador, and they came here dehydrating in deserts for 32 days with their children on their back. So they deserve to never have to work another day in their life.
Do you feel thinking about that sometimes and the pressure of that holds you back from relationships? Because I would say I go through that.
Yes, absolutely. And you and your family very much like Latinos, you know, and you know, there's a lot of pressure, and because of that, it's like I can't. Oh, and then another thing, you have to be with someone that accepts that. I'm not abandoning my family.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to be with me, knows they are also marrying my mommy and daddy.
And like when you go to Somaya's house, they all there.
Okay, because you see, Latinos don't move out; they move in. Okay, somehow they've moved in with me.
The whole family.
So you were used to living in the famously single house. You were like, shit, it's like home.
Yeah, I mean, it was different for me, but it definitely felt like home, you know.
But what was that like joining these celebrities who've been known to kind of have this notorious ego in all of them? Were you nervous when you found out the cast?
Well,
had you already knew some people?
I didn't know anyone on the cast until I walked in there. And there were only a few people that I recognized. Aubrey, Jessica, and Polly are the only ones that I knew. I didn't know Brandy, my friend Willis. It's funny because Willis ended up being like a mutual friend with like a bunch of my friends, particularly my boy Brian, which is another football player. And yeah, so I didn't really know anyone. I was nervous because I wasn't nervous until they said there will also be guys living in the house. And I was like, okay, because I've seen these shows and it looks like everyone has their own rooms, but they were like, but you guys don't have your own rooms. It's a loft open space and they're dividers that are going to divide your rooms. Because of my personal traumas with men, and one of the stories the story you're gonna see about what has me very like, who are these guys? Like, I mean, what's their deal? Like, you know, I don't know if I'm comfortable living with other men under the same house that I don't know, because I don't roll like that. As a Latina, that's how I was raised. Right. It's just, it is what it is. It doesn't make me that I'm a goody two shoes at all, okay? But
you respect the space that you sleep
right,
in.
I do. And, you know, I mean, the way they made it sound, I was like, so it's like Big Brother? Like, we're all like kind of like mounted on top of each other? Like, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. So I was really nervous for that. So once I got in there and then we saw how it was, and everyone was just so cool, you know, for the first few hours until everything went crazy.
Until the drink started.
Yeah, until the drinking started, you know. But everybody was...
What are those?
I know. What are my boy? My guy Polly, I love him. I mean, but you know, it was a little nerve wracking. But once we were there, it kind of just reminded me of my home, you know. So, but it was really hard for me because what people don't know is the entire time I was filming the show, my father was in the hospital, and again, it's a piece of my story. My father was an alcoholic and a woman beater. You know, because his demons, once the alcohol would possess him, he would turn into a different person. He was a good man, a good provider, but he didn't know how to deal with that. So I helped him. I'm the only person that believed in him. Everyone pretty much abandoned him. My mother broke up with him, and I stood by his side and helped him get sober. But he was having relapses.
This is during filming?
Yes.
Wow.
And again, because I have to take care of my family, I made sure that my dad was going to be okay. He had to be there for another week just for tests, but the doctor said it was okay. I asked my father for his permission before I said, for sure, I'm going to do it. And it was incredibly difficult for me because I'm sitting here trying to do the show. People are coming for me. I'm just like, you don't even know the things that I'm going through, the things that I have to sacrifice, because it's celebrity is whatever to me, you know. It's actually, it's man-made. You know what I'm saying? Like, what people don't know, I'm just still Somaya. You know, I came from nothing. I'm a proud Salvadorian woman. I'm very proud of the things that I've done for my community. I give a lot. Yeah, I don't put pictures up of the charitable stuff that I do, and everyone that knows me knows what I do because they're a part of what I do. And that's who I'm always going to be. So I am really looking forward for the audience to see those sides of me, because I am very tough. I have to be a beast, especially going on these reality shows. If you don't stand up for yourself, and you don't let it be known, you're not chopping me down. People will be walking all over you.
Which is interesting. So we see last week you and Brandy kind of, which is interesting because when I saw you at the NBC carpet. And I was trying to like figure out, because last week we talked to Rob Mack.
Yeah,
and,
Rob's my boy.
I was trying to figure out, because I was like, oh, okay, well, so Aubrey and Brandy aren't into each other. Maybe that's why they weren't next to each other on the carpet. And then we saw you and Brandy arguing. I was like, okay, well, now Brandy and Somaya are on the carpet together. So maybe. But it's interesting because when I saw you and Brandy together before watching the show, I was like, that actually makes sense. They're two both strong women.
Chicks,
and so to see you guys get into that tiff, it was interesting to me, because in that moment I had said, I was like, in this moment, like, Somaya's a really smart girl, and it intrigued me that she flipped it on Brandy versus being like, Polly, like, in that moment. And then you and Brandy started going at it, and so was it like kind of the alphaness, like?
No. So here's what happened. If you actually watch the episode again, you will see me tell Polly, chill out. So I did say that to him, but it's like you can. It's very faint. There's so much arguing going on, you couldn't hear it, and that's why when we were back in the house, I went to go get Polly, because I Polly, I need for you to tell this girl that I was not involved in this what are those situation. Like, I'm like, when he said it, I was like, yeah, honestly, it's like so much was happening, but Paulie is a playful guy, but once he kept saying it over and over, what wasn't really seen is that the guy was following me from table to table. He was taking our drinks, and anyone that knows my story knows if there's a strange man that is following me, you better believe that I am like, what's up? Like, it was a very... It's almost like my PTSD kicked in, and I was like on defense mode. So if you watch the episode again, please do. You'll see that we're in 3 different areas. Look at the location, but it might not seem that way because everything's going so fast. Yes, and that. And maybe I don't think the producers really caught on to that, you know, that was really going on. So at one point I did tell the producers, like, yo, this guy keeps like following me to table. What's up with that? And he's like, oh, don't worry, he's harmless, you know. And so I was like, okay, you know, everything is cool. And then I turn around and he's like bomb rushes me. So the only way that I was able to really kind of defend myself is by telling them to walk away. But before any of that happened, he started rapping because the cameras were on us. He started freestyling. It's like, so were you there?
Like, what is that?
What is that?
Well, it's like, so then everything started, you know, really make sense.
The context, hearing the context now is so interesting.
Yeah, and those are the things that they didn't show. So, you know, he did that once the cameras were rolling because he wanted to be on TV. And so I think that his intentions of being there were totally different, you know, than what it seems like, because all you see him is laughing during the whole time, and he looks this small, but he's still a man.
Right.
He's still a man, no matter
creepy.
what. And he's following me. So, could I have handled it differently? Yeah, I didn't have to cuss at him, but like the only way you can get a dude off of you, like when you're in the club, like someone's grabbing your arm, you have to stand firm.
Yeah, and isn't that the worst part about being a girl in clubs? Because in situations like this, it's like the only way for someone to listen to you, because you can say stop, no, get away from me.
No.
But as soon as you curse at them, that's when they want to like park up. And then it's like, oh, well, why are you being a bitch?
Yeah.
Why are you being creepy following me? Like, can we go ahead and talk about that? Yeah.
I won't be a bitch if you stop being a creep.
Yeah, pound creep. You know, so
like, you deserve the bitch right now because you're being a creep.
And so what happened with Brandy is because Brandy didn't see that. obviously, because she's, sitting over there. She's not really, I guess, it's not her job to be staring at what's happening to Somaya, you know? Mm-hmm. So all she saw was when I told him that. And so what she did was a natural reaction that I probably would have done if I saw some, because I'm always standing up for people.
That's why it was so weird to see it edited like this, because you are what Brandy would do. Like, in that situation, it was so confusing for me, because I was like...
Anyone that's seen it, even my fans were like, what? That's not Somaya.
Even me watching it, not knowing you before 5 minutes ago, I was watching it like, man, why is she like being super aggressive with him? But then, I always think what's more to the story, because I work in production too, so I know how they like to cut around stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, you gotta make an interesting show. I get it, but I know that working with the production team, like, in no way, I'm sure that how could they get that into that episode, introduce all our characters? This is really hard.
Not only that, but this show, period, he does a really good job of fitting a lot of topics into the show. And I want to talk about this episode.
And so that was probably, the way that it happens, like, regardless of how anyone feels, I was there. I know what really happened. Mm-hmm. And Brandy, now that we've become friends, she's even gone on an interview saying, like, no, Somaya's actually cool. Once like I said, she didn't know. How could she know? Like, all she saw was, like, me saying that. Paulie kept saying, what are those? So, in reality...
And then to hear the context and the PTSD, like, all that stuff is, like, people don't ever... a lot of people, we see people acting out or acting a certain way, and our typical thought is to go... oh, well, they're just being an asshole, or they're being a bitch, or, they're a bad person. Instead of thinking, well, maybe something happened to them that day. What's going on with that? Put yourself in that person's shoes. I want to go through some things that happened on tonight's episode and kind of get your inside voice.
Okay.
So Jessica, I love that she does this tarot card thing with the
I knew
all the time.
Jesse's
she would walk into my bed and we'd like lay there and she'd be like playing her cards.
Jessica, when you come in, I'm bringing my tarot cards. And we're gonna have a little tarot all right, so they're talking about all the other girls and the guys, and they have this conversation about not wanting their exes to ever get over them. They say, what do you guys think about that? Is that something you ever think? I don't ever think about, once you are my ex, you are
my ex. Me too. My girlfriend says I'm a little petty sometimes. Okay. just a little. But you know what? It is, if anyone wants to pretend and act like that's not true, that you would love for your ex to see you doing better, looking good, being your hot sauce self, it's not for everybody, but it's a good feeling. My ex hit me up. My ex hit me up not long ago, and I was like, why would I hit you back? Okay. You see me doing well. That's why you hit me up. Okay, boo, bye. Goodbye. Bye. So, in that respect, but I am also that way. Like, when I'm done, I'm done, However, I have had some I've only had like 2 like terrible exes. Everyone I've ever dated has been very, very kind. And we didn't work out. It didn't work out for whatever reason, but I'm not their enemy. We're very far, far away friends. I respect my relationships. I don't really like kind of, hang out with other people that I've been with. But,
exactly.
I don't really care so much if they're like dying without me, but it's a good feeling.
You always.
And they all come back. I should have not left you.
You taught me everything. You made me a better person.
Well, why? And you realize that now.
But you know what? I've walked away, and this is where I think for me, instead of holding on to the animosity, it was, you know what? In my life, I can say I've been in 3 relationships. Out of those 3 relationships, I can say to myself, you know what? As I walk away from them, I know that they left the relationship a better person by knowing it. And you know what? If that's all I was meant to do in that, cool.
Fine.
Move on and carry on. Another topic they brought up was monogamy, and you said that this is so like me. When you're in a relationship,
totally invested.
It's like, I don't see anything. I don't, like, it blows my mind that we can get to a place like that.
Yes, and I know that for myself, it definitely stems from my childhood, because my daddy, when I was little, which is interesting because my father was like a ladies' man, which is kind of another big piece of why my mom and dad broke up. But since I was a little girl, my daddy used to always tell me, when you're in a relationship, it's just you and them. Don't cheat. Don't be a cheater. Don't be that girl. Don't be that girl. I mean, since I was like 15, I was always that. And I don't know if that's a big piece of that, but I know that I've always been a very faithful girlfriend, which is funny because my girlfriend now, she's like really like, I wish she was here right now just so you can see. She'd be like, well, I don't mind if they kiss him, it's fine. Like she met Jessica, she's like, I'm a big fan of your work with Somaya on the show. So, you know, it's really cute, you know, but for me, I've always been like, if I just am with you, I am like 100% attracted to you and no one else.
What's your take on labels? Because so we hear that when you guys talked about labels, not having a label means that there can't be failure, and it's kind of almost like a loophole.
Of course, the labels are scary. You know, some people, so it's a defense mechanism.
To not have a label?
To not have the label. You know, it's kind of like, well, if there's no label, I can't get hurt. Yep. Move on. Hey, call me whenever. You know, maybe we can have some fun, whatever the case is. And it's true. There's so much truth to it. No label, no commitment.
And no label is fine for a little bit.
You don't feel bad,
Yep.
but when you're... See, here's the thing. If you go into something with no label and then you start catching feelings, you better say something.
Yeah, and because then otherwise you get lost, and the communication is so important.
Communicating.
And at that point, that's where there has to be conversation of a label, because I think people also jump into things too quickly, where it's like, here's a label, and it's like, well, you guys actually could have been friends.
Right.
Instead of letting
and sometimes
that
turns into like enemies, or like, you know, some people like, they're like, oh, I don't even want to talk to you, and it's like, we could have avoided that.
Yeah, I feel like the label thing is totally a millennial thing that's happening now, and maybe it's because, like you said, like I watched my parents. I watched my parents, you know, love just each other for my whole life. Like they met in high school, and so in my mind, I tell them they've screwed me over royally because I didn't meet someone in high school that I fell in love with.
Yes.
So it's like I'm looking for that, and I think that as a defense mechanism, it's like, okay, if I don't know if this person's gonna be that for me, let's not put a label on it, and then it's nothing.
Isn't it interesting how our childhood,
Girl.
we're adults, and we are still talking about the things we learned as kids.
Adults are grown children. That's all adults are. So don't ever let no one make you feel otherwise, honey. And these people out here be thinking they paid $30,000 for a damn diploma.
It doesn't. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Now, I'm not saying go to school, y'all. But I'm just saying.
Definitely don't
let
go to
people
school.
downplay you, because they all, these adults out here are just children. Look at Trump. You know what I mean? Like, anyways. So another one was interesting, Aubrey versus Brandy. So Aubrey said, I don't have casual sex if I'm very Aubrey. Like, I can't have casual sex. I have to be into you to have sex. Otherwise, I'll jerk off. But Brandy says, well, see, I'm a little older. I have needs. And so she kind of has fuck buddies. Like, she has these friends that
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you want to own that, like, own it. Because you know what I don't like? Oh, can I cuss?
Yeah.
I don't like hoes on the low. Okay.
Who be trying to act like.
Listen, boo, if you out there, you wanted to get the D, go and be that. Own it. Own it. Because
that's why I fuck with Brandy, though.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, but the thing is, on the flip side, then you have people like Aubrey, let's say, like, which is somewhat of like how I am. Although I don't see anything wrong with like having little buddies, you know, that you can lay in bed with. I also have to like be with some. I don't know. I have to be
so
like.
I genuinely wish I could be like that.
Yeah.
Genuinely wish I could be like that, because I want.
But if I have needs, you better believe your girl calling somebody.
I can't, girl.
But I'm in a relationship, guys.
There'd be too much. There'd be too many things spreading out here.
Yeah,
too much
we don't have no time for that.
I'll be with my 5 friends right here.
Yes, no, it's
going
true.
to Pornhub.
Nothing wrong with that.
Pornhub.
I've got the app in my phone. I'm just kidding.
I'm kidding. my Vinster. So Callum, he's an interesting character.
I love him.
I actually kind of would like to see like the friendship that you two would have, because especially after hearing his story today, that his dad was an alcoholic, and that the first time he actually like really connected with his father was a sober moment, and they went to Greece, and then he found out that his dad was started drinking again, and then he passed away at 24, and then he kind of went on that drinking spree. What was your connection like with him in the house?
Well, I do hope that they show it, because when it's interesting, when the cameras were off, we would also like have these deep conversations, you know. I don't know if they're going to make TV or not, because I know that we were mic'd everywhere. But one thing that I did learn from my father, being an alcoholic and doing all the things that would actually probably traumatized me in other ways. For more so, it just sort of made me very like aware. It made me very careful with my drinking because I can go. I know this, and it has happened to me before.
Been there.
Yeah, no.
We partaked.
Yes, no. And so I'm very careful of those things. But however, I can look past, because I saw Callum switch many times, but I definitely always told him, like, whenever we had conversations, I would have these heart-to-hearts with him and tell him, like, dude, you are a good guy, but, like, this alcohol, you know? And, like, in order for us to try to fix it, let's, like, you know, talk about it more. Like, you know, I'm so glad that he did open up because now it won't look like he's this a-hole, and he's really not. He is a good guy. It's just that his connection with alcohol and the booze, and like how you're watching it.
That was so interesting to hear that
and I've seen it
how he
with my
connects with his
father.
father is to drink.
Right.
That's so crazy.
It's really
girls.
no. It's true, and I totally. I know. And so I would see something, and I think Brandy would too, we saw something in Callum that no one else was looking at, because again, you know how people judge, like for instance, what happened with me with the boy, you know, that was following me, you know. And I say boy lightly because I think he said he was 25, I don't know. But you know, like how my PTSD kicked in when he was following me, and that's my trauma. Right? And so all you see is me going off on him. So the automatic like reaction is like, oh, that was mean of Somaya, but no one really looks further. But the ones that do look further and deeper into why people are doing what they do, you get to see like so many other layers. And Callum is full of fluffy layers.
And he seems like the type of person that if
really
you expose those layers, he will
he's
work
really
on himself.
trying, and he has been trying, and it's going to take time, but he's been through a lot. I mean, you know, I can relate, like, bro, like you've been through some like real demons like me, because everyone has a story. No one just acts how they are because of just cuz. You know, Brandy is the way she is because she's really traumatized.
Speak about that in this reference. So she says to Callum, I always go for the bad guy, and I know you. I'm attracted to you because you are the bad guy, and
the bad one for me.
The bad one for me, But at the same time, she keeps saying, I see something in you. So where does that balance? Because, again, so relatable, because I am the king at finding a bad boy. Because I look at people's potential, and I see what they can be. And I hear the story. You know what I mean? You hear the story, and you do want to see those layers, and you cater to those layers. For Brandy,
and it also doesn't help that Callum is hot.
Well, I mean
hello.
Yeah, like honestly, like I just every time I see him, I want to put a marble in his mouth and just have him do like a cigarette commercial.
You know, just be
I thought you said a marble in his mouth, and I was like, why do you want a marble?
Where's this going?
What did you see as far as Brandy, as far as her growing with that kind of conversation?
Yeah, well, like it's the same thing I saw, because we would see other sides of Callum. It's only when he would like get a little bit tipsy, like, and it wasn't like he was drunk all day and being no, and actually he wasn't really so much an a-hole than he was like more a little bit of a control almost, because if you notice that, like, he was like,
when he flirted
I want
with
you to
the
be
girl,
with just me, not.
Yep. And so here's this question. So did you notice this when he said that to Brandy, then he flipped it and then went into that girl and was like, kiss me. So
because he doesn't know any better.
But
like,
does he not know any better, or was that an instinct, like, because Brandy's doing this, now my switch turns
you
on?
stab me, I stab you. And it's a trait, and I know I've seen it. That's why when we would have our conversations, when everyone was sober, we would talk, and I never passed judgment on him, because I was like, okay, well, he's dealing with alcoholism. That's hard.
You can't control
You can't control it. You almost don't know what you're doing, even though you do, but you don't, because your chip has flipped, and all you are doing is what you know best to do. So Brandy saw other things in him too. She likes bad boys. I don't like bad boys or bad girls.
So wait, was Brandy really making out with a whole bunch of people at this party? Because they didn't show anything.
It was just like she was hugging and like kissing people on the cheek.
To be honest with you, like I watched and I was like, was she? I was like, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, and I think it's again that when you're
tipsy,
drunk and the type of what happens to him, he probably saw she was having fun and hugging other people, and didn't like it, but instead he also, remember, doesn't know how to communicate yet with a woman. So that's why, listening to Brandy, I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know he liked me like that. I mean, neither did I. I'm watching it like, I didn't know that was happening, you know?
But you did know that Paulie and Aubrey were into each other. And at the party, we see at the end, it was kind of like Aubrey and Callum were kind of looking at afar at Brandy and Paulie. Was that, again, internal things? Because it seemed like Aubrey really wasn't bothered, and it was more Callum kind of in her ear. And then once he wanted to like flirt with her and Aubrey was like, no, I'm good, he went to that other girl. So with Brandy, is it just, she has a fun personality.
She is. Well, here's the thing, right? So in the beginning, Sip. Buddy. So if you notice in episode 1, right off the bat, me and Polly were a thing. And then a couple things happened, something really funny. I don't know if it's going to make it to TV, but we were having a conversation about sex. And I was like, do you eat the kitty? And he was like, oh, not really. And I'm like, well, I'm out.
Polly D don't eat the kitty. That's why he need to find him a white girl.
I was like, what? So it was kind of a funny thing the way it happened, but like,
you know what? If I was from Jersey Shore, I don't know if I would be.
Yeah, so in the type of girls that he meets, you know, like
call meatballs.
Now that I look at it, I get it. But at the time, I was like, you don't eat the kitty? Like, bye, it's a must. So I was out. I was done.
She sprinted out.
I was done. And so there were, before that episode happened, there was like little things that were already happening kind of after I sort of walked off from that. And so I know what was really happening, you know, and all the things that did happen. But that particular night, I think that the more people were drinking, the more I feel people were seeing things.
Like, what were they putting in your drink?
Like, what was going on? Because here's the funny thing is, right? So, you know, me and Aubrey became really good friends. I mean, we all did, but it was always like me, Aubrey, and Jessica. And so, actually, I'm watching it now, and I'm like, oh, they're not showing, like, some of the other things that have happened. But what was funny is that Aubrey was in the bathroom, and she was like, come here. And I was like, what? And she's like, and I was like, I don't know what all that means. So I went into the bathroom, and then she's like, I think Brandy's flirting with Polly. And you know, you guys saw it, and I don't think that's what was happening. I think everyone was just having fun. Right. And I, you know, I never saw Brandy once in the house, like, just, like, throw, like, hey, it's free kitty cat everywhere. Right. It wasn't like that, you know? So, but I think that because everyone was drinking, you know, I mean, you start seeing shit and, like...
And she has no problem being like, yo, what's up? Like, putting her hand on something.
She's very, like a very friendly person, you know? And that's why her infectious personality can... Either you dig it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? So I think that...
Is she really not into the whole celebrityism like she kind of made it seem on the first one? Like, she said, like, I'll take a picture of anybody. If anyone comes up to me, like, is she very much like that? Is that kind of like the shtick from the Beverly Housewives? Because she kind of said, like, Samaya and Aubrey, they're really into the whole, like, celebrityism
And you
thing.
know me personally, so you know I'm not. I'm anti-celebrity. Like, I'm like, no, actually, I walk around with chancletas, okay? I go to the little Latin markets, you know, where, you know, you get your 2 for 99 cent stuff. Like, I mean, I'm in the 99 cent store. I go to Ross. I don't have no problem with it. At the same time, you see me on Rodeo Drive dropping that cash that I made because no man gave it to me.
Thank you. I'm a grown woman.
But yeah, it's definitely. I think that. I don't know why all of those words were said because I'm not like that, but I think it has a lot to do with Brandy didn't know me yet. Yeah. So she probably, like, you know, we're going to a house called the Famously Single House. So she's like, I don't even know who the F you are. Like, and of course, that's all she was able to kind of retain from me after that fight. You know, we hadn't really talked, squashed beef, got to know each other.
Girl fight. Like, what can I read her up and down quickly?
She was just reading me, you know, and I get it, you know, like, I totally get it because I'm the total opposite, you know.
Samaya can go there, but she chooses not to.
I mean, I can, and I can't say I won't, but I'm trying. But, you know, I mean, fans meet me, like, you know, I go to South Central all the time. You know, my family's there. Like, you know, I'm in the streets for real, not always in Beverly Hills. So she is definitely down earth, though. So she is a down earth chick. But she's like us. She's working. So, you know, I guess to really say like, oh, you're not really into the celebrityism, like we have to be on when it's time. But she is actually like very like down to earth and chill, you know.
Authentically, like when you see her,
like I went to her house, you know, she's my neighbor,
and she acts
we
the
had
same.
taco, we had Taco Tuesday, and she was making some real OG tacos. You know, she's like an honorary Latina, you know.
Brandy.
Yeah, she is. There's definitely a different side to her, but you know, she's working like me, so she has to be out there. You know, you can't help it if, you know, you're working with, you know, you're going somewhere TMZ catch. It's just what this is the life we live, you know.
Yeah, and that whole Pauly D and her talking thing, to me, it looked like the drunk rambles. When, like, you know, and like,
like, I love you,
my best friend,
you know, like when you're in the bathroom, you meet the coolest girls, you know. When you're
like,
drunk,
oh my God, let's hang out.
You're like, why am I following this person on Instagram?
Yeah, the next thing you're like, I don't remember you.
We're Facebook friends now.
Like, what happened? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think that it was a big misunderstanding, you know. But like, Aubrey's my girl, so she was like, you need to go get Pauly and tell him what's up. So I did. You know, it wasn't like in a rude way, but I told him like, hey, if you really like my friend, like, just please, you know, like back off, like, because I don't know what's going on, but Aubrey's not feeling this, and so go talk to Aubrey. But it wasn't like because I mean I didn't see anything wrong, because I was like, are you sure, dude? Like, I think they're just talking. I think everyone's drunk, guys. You know,
so it was like when you get drunk and you just want to tell everybody how much you love them. Like,
and that's why
I love everything you've done. I've watched everything, and it's so amazing.
And that's why I didn't say anything like rude to Brandy. I was just like, you know, hey, come here. You know, I didn't, because I didn't see anything wrong with what Brandy was doing, but we didn't know what was going on because everyone was drinking and. You know how things look, you know. Yeah, it was good times.
Before we head out, let's head into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
This looks fun. Y'all go on a date with the earbuds.
Oh yeah.
What can we expect from this? What was? Did you play any jokes on anyone?
So here's the thing. So when I did it, what can I spoil?
What type of people are they setting you up with?
Let me just tell you something funny. So you know when girls get into camaraderie mode and we're like, you're my bestie, right? So at this point she was feeling Pauly. So I was like, you want me to sabotage the date? I was like, I got your back, girl. She was like, yeah, make sure nothing happens. And I was like, if not, I'll report. Don't worry, I got my phone with me. So that's the funny part, because you know, when I saw Pauly's date, I was like, are they trying to clone my girl Aubrey? Because that's the only thing I can tell you. But it was a lot of fun. At the same time, I was like, you know, I was trying to.
Who was in your ear when you went on a date?
Pauly.
Oh,
it was
so
me
you
and
guys
Pauly.
switched.
Yeah, so that's the reason why when it was me and Pauly, Aubrey was like, how was that? I was like, got your back. So we talked about it, you know, but the funny thing is that Pauly, of course, is really playful on the date. So, you know, he was saying all kinds of wild stuff. I can't tell you who the date was, but I was really nervous because I've never been on a blind date. So these were like blind dates, kind of. Like, I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh my God, what if it's like a weirdo? Like, it was a little traumatizing for me at first. I didn't know. Yeah,
but you got to step out of your comfortability zone.
Yeah, and that's what the show was teaching us, because, and you know, it's just so crazy because the things that happened are like, normally, you know, we don't just like go up to people on the street and like, you know, like, hey, come to my yacht tonight, like, and, you know, so it was a lot of uncomfortable situations that we were trying to make work, because we also were there to learn about each other, learn about ourselves, you know. So it's a really, that earbud thing was so funny, and there was so many hilarious moments. I was trying hard to sabotage the date for Pauly. I mean, for Aubrey, you know, because she was like, she's trying to get the date. So I was like, let me not let somebody come in between.
Style,
you know. When you have, you know, you got your girl's back. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know how it's going to look or what, but it was pretty funny.
What was the biggest lesson walking away from this show that you look back and you were like, thank God he placed me in that house, sat across from those people, and like, what lesson did you really pull from this experience?
Two of them. One of them, some of the things in my story I've never talked about publicly. There's only a certain amount of depth that I have discussed these experiences and things, traumas that happened to me. So I was going through this soul-searching mission, and I felt that I hadn't mourned a certain death that happened to me. And I've never seen a psychologist because where I come from, in the urban land community or you know, anyone with that type of big family, going to a therapist is considered a no. You're crazy. You know, you're
telling other people your business.
for it.
Yeah,
you're shamed for it. So this was a very opening experience for me, and I felt very free once I released. I also took from that is how to learn to, you know, to give in a little more, I guess, and not be so much work. Give someone a chance, because how are you going to meet someone if you don't give someone a chance? You know, I've canceled thousands of, not thousands, but yeah, I'm popular, honey. But
the phone stay ringing.
You know, stay ringing. I have, you know, turned down a ton of opportunities of like going on dates, and I might have met someone, but I'm glad I didn't, because the person that I met now I've known her for 7 years, but some of the things I learned from the show, I applied them to my current relationship, and it's making us work. And
when you left the show, did you, having these new tools, was it something that you looked at the friendship and you were like, you know what, after thinking about all this stuff, how can I use these tools? Or was it it just kind of...
Well, let me keep it 100 with you.
Girl,
okay?
I want you come
We've
up
been
here
friends for 7 years, but one tequila infused night about 5 years ago, girl, I kissed her outside of a strip club. Oh, okay. So, you know, okay.
So the seed was planted.
So, you know, I had to let it be known, girl. I like you, girl. I like you. So we remained friends. There's a lot of flirting. Yeah, there's a lot of flirting that's been going on. We did a record together. She's a rapper as well. So we did a record together, but we became friends. It wasn't really like a thing. It was just always flirting, you know? But it just so happened that we sort of caught up on, you know, each other's life and what we were up to. And she was like, yeah, you know, I've been going through the soul searching thing. And I was like, oh, me too. And she's like, so I'm single. I was like, well, I'm single too. You're single? So what's up? What's going on? Like, you know, let's talk. And I kind of made that first move, and that's very much who I am, though. I am very aggressive. Whatever I want, I'm going to get. And the things that this was right out of the house.
Oh, wow.
It was right out of the house. So I was like very open. I mean, I've dated men before. I tried going out on another date with a man. It just was not my thing, you know. I don't know if it's a person or what it is, but I don't like to be labeled. You know, I think labels belong on products, you know, not on me. And so, you know, when we started talking, I you know, something that's very difficult for me is to communicate without, you know, kind of throwing my wall up.
Yep.
Which was a big piece of what happened the first night, you know. When Brandy came to talk to me, I was so fired up that she confronted me for something that I didn't do wrong. It was the guy was following me. My wall was totally up, so I wasn't hearing anything she was saying.
Right. You
know, she was like, hey, I want to talk to you, I want to squash you. I was like, no. And that's something that I'm learning to... But I'm Salvadorian. I'm a Latina. Like we're, you know,
it's just something in the blood. It's
just a thing, you know. It's just like I'm just like automatic, like hot inferno snapped. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's very difficult, but I'm learning something that I did learn there is to sort of learn to put the wall down a little, be a little bit more vulnerable. You know, because I've never had to be. I've had to be so hard and go so hard in the paint. Like in this business that we're in, if you, as a woman, if you want respect, you have to be poker face.
Okay.
You have to walk into a room and command and demand respect. You don't ask for it. You take it. As a woman. So I have only known that. And so I took away from the house just feeling very free. Okay, I felt like this whole weight was lifted off of me. I was able to mourn this death. I was also learned that it's okay to be vulnerable. You know, I don't believe that everyone deserves that, to see that of you, but I believe that sometimes you also have to look past people, which I decided to do with Brandy, because I'm like, okay, if she came up to me a little crazy like that, like, it's got to be a little something deeper. And as I started to get to know her deeper, and as I started to be more vulnerable, we all sort of gelled.
And the other thing I want to just put out
and
there
that
about
applied to my relationship.
vulnerability really quickly. You know, yeah, everyone doesn't deserve to see it, but if you live in your authentic truth and you walk in your authentic self, I do believe that when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable with everybody, you contain the power.
Yes.
Because once you become vulnerable and then you rethink that vulnerability, you're now giving them the power. So once you've given that vulnerability, you own it, because we know where we come from, we know where we stem from ourselves, and you have the power. They can't hurt you with that, because you know what your truth is, you know what you walk in.
And I've always been very transparent. Anyone that I've been talking about my story my whole life, I can call myself on my own shit. If I know I'm out of pocket, I will be the first person to say, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. You know, I'm just this happened. But sorry, man. Okay, I didn't have any coffee this morning. Okay, forgive me. But yes, it's true. And so all I have ever known since coming out of the womb is to be tough and to not be vulnerable, because if you show that, it's like in battle. If you show someone that you're vulnerable, they're coming for you because they know that sweet spot. And so it's been I've been applying it to my relationship, and like yesterday, me and my girlfriend had like this like little breakdown moment, which she calls a gay moment. She's really funny. She's like, babe, we were being so gay yesterday. I was like, I know. She started crying, I started crying. I was like, I'm sorry too. Oh my God. Like, but you know, it's working what I learned from there, and being vulnerable, I think, in the safe and right setting is amazing. And I am really excited for people to see that piece of my story on the show, and hopefully they show it soon, just so that, you know, because everyone has to show their characters, you know, and just so people can see why I am how I am. And you know, anyone can come up to me anywhere I'm at. I definitely am not full of myself. You guys know this. I'm just chill girl. Just
Somaya from the top.
I came from nothing. I'm just trying to work, man. Just trying to take care of my parents. Hopefully, leave a positive message out there. You know, and
you do. I mean, you are. I love the way you interact with your fans, and
I always write stories.
I see they feel like they're family with you. You know what I mean?
And they are. They are. I'm your. People say, I feel like you're my bestie in my head, and I'm like, I am. I am, girl. Hit me up anytime. You know.
And what are you working on right now? Like, what do we got coming at it, Somaya Reece?
Well, I have, I'm back to the music. You know, I took about a good 2 years off. I put out some freestyles here and there, but I was really focused on my business. If you guys see a lot of celebrities and people posting the tea, you know, the detox tea, I'm the owner and the creator of the Get Slim Detox tea.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you see me posting it, I'm not an endorsed Instagram model or anything. I own it. Yeah.
I own that shit, bitch.
I'm the only sole creator, investor, everything. I started it from nothing. So I took some time off just to build my business, just to make sure, because I've always really aspired to be a businesswoman. A boss. That's why my nickname was always the boss before Rick Ross started to call himself the boss, La Jefa. And I was working on building that. And now, you know, I'm back to the music. I'm working on launching another product. I'm 7 products in. I have all natural weight loss products. If anybody want to get any, shopthisfitsme.com. And it's amazing for anyone. It helps you with, if you have diabetes, if you have thyroid issues, blood issues, this will help you fix that. It will also help you with plateaus, and it'll help you regain your confidence again. You'll be healthy, and you're going to be feeling good, you know? So that's overall the biggest message of like what I want to do with my life. I want to be someone that helps. I'm bringing back Fitness with Friends, which is my U.S. tour that I do, and I go around the country and I invite strangers to come work out with me. And I teach them how to be healthy. And I've been doing that for many years, and I'm also working on my music, like I said, and my girlfriend is actually going to be executive producing it.
Okay.
She's a phenomenal writer, producer, and aside from being a phenomenal woman and artist, she's a creative genius, you know? And we start filming our new reality show.
Okay. What?
On another major network.
What?
Yeah, we start around the week of the 10th. In the East Coast.
Oh, shit.
So
Okay.
So I'm going back to the East Coast, and we're filming it. It's me and her family, our relationship, and my relationship with their family, and then her relationship with my family. So it's a whole thing.
Go ahead, Somaya.
It's a whole thing. So we're really
Busy.
excited about that. Yeah, I'm very thankful because I didn't think I would live past the age of 11. After being sucked into the life of gangs and, dropping out of school and almost losing my life to being shot and stabbed and attacked. I'm not supposed to be here, but the reason why I'm here is because I'm supposed to tell my story and send out a message. And I hope that people continue to see that, and, I will continue to use these platforms to talk about it.
I love you.
Yeah.
I just love you so much. Where can everyone follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, and that's Somaya Reece, SOMAYAREECE. And on Twitter, it's at Somaya_Reece. Everything else is just Somaya Reece.
And your webpage?
My webpage is shopthisfitsme.com.
Boom. Y'all trying to get real cute for this?
Yeah, if you're trying to get snatched,
Just call Somaya Reece.
I'll get you right.
Okay.
Okay. And you can find me at the Tiona Hobson on Twitter and Instagram.
Boom. Everywhere. Hit me up at DJ Jesse J. First of all, E, congratulations on this show. We're loving it. We're
Yes.
loving the discussion. We're loving the reality. Y'all giving us a whole bunch of tea. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Somaya, for joining
you.
us.
Yes,
Make sure
thank
you
you.
guys follow her and her journey. Also, keep in contact with us at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll be back next week. You never know who's going to stop by. Peace!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.